You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's 90210 After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's 90210 After Show.
Yeah, 90210 fans, it's your girl, Nicolette Gaona, your host. As being it's for doing it, we're doing another episode of 90210. We are not in Kansas no more. I'm here with my lovely new co-host over here, Amber, in the building.
Hey guys, Amber J.
And we have Violet, of course, beautiful.
Hey everyone.
And Bam, the manly man, up in the building.
What up, Bam Erickson?
So tonight, you guys, I mean, this episode, you know, crazy dream, right?
What was going on?
I have to say, the first, once it got into the dream sequence, I was like, okay, I'm bored. What's going on?
Okay.
But I have to admit, this was, to me, the best episode. And I said this when we did the 100th episode.
Right.
But I felt like last night's episode was really the best episode that they had because it embodied all of the cast members. Everyone was involved, and you were able to go back to things that would happen in high school, plus plus what happened, what's going on current. So to me, it was the best episode, and I like the fact that Annie was the reason, Annie and Dixon was the reason why all of this happened, because I've had my beefs, 90210 writers, about how there's too much focus on Naomi.
Right.
But the premise of why this show started was because Dixon and Annie moved to Beverly Hills from Kansas, right, just like the premise of the original one. So I like how they tied it all back in, and it focused on Annie being the reason why everything happened. And
it makes the whole season and all the episodes we've had before make sense and really understand this storyline and really understanding how 90210 began. And so that's where I got a lot from this episode. It was kind of reaching out like, you know what, we have storylines, and this is a really good season. This is a good group of kids, you know what I mean, that have gone through a lot, and it was good to see the different personalities that would have came if they weren't friends. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, let's get into it. This whole episode, you know, Annie got shot last episode, and she ends up in the hospital. I mean, with her and the whole Liam situation, I mean, we'll get to that closer to the end, but it's going to be interesting to see where they end up at. Before we get into that, though, of course, we had Dixon. He was one of the main parts in this dream.
He was a crazy pop star or a rap star, and they actually played his music, which I thought was pretty cool. It was his song.
Right.
I didn't like his music.
I didn't either, but I thought it was cool that they used it.
I didn't like his music. I don't like Dixon as a rapper. Like,
really?
He's not a good rapper
Well,
to me.
personally, since I personally know him, I was laughing hysterical through the whole thing because, like, it's just not him, you know what I mean? So it was just funny to see that. But, I mean, I mess with his music. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the homie, so I have to support him.
For me, I don't feel like that's Tristan Wilds. I don't feel like that's his real music. I felt like that was something that he did for him being the character that he was, because he was supposed to be this gangster rapper. So like you,
it was so funny.
I laughed when I saw that because it was just the way that he was on stage. It was a bad mix of Tupac and R. Kelly from Bump and Grind video with the black leather vest.
And he would really, he would never, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Tristan wouldn't wear that, so it was like I just felt like a bad R. Kelly video.
Weird. Oh yeah, it was so funny. Like I thought it was like kind of that typical rapper type of look. You know what I'm saying?
He had the bandana going. Yeah. He had like,
I mean, he was like a whole bunch of different rappers, like all at one time.
Right.
So it's like, what are you trying to do? I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna come, don't be corny. Like, do your own music. I don't know. I just feel like they made them mad corny.
I think it's the fact, I mean, it is, you know, television. You know what I'm saying? They have to up it. They're not promoting Tristan's music. They're not promoting, you know, Mac as he goes by. You know, they're not supporting that music. They're trying to make it a storyline. So they're trying to make it dramatic and have a character and trying to humor it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Especially because it was a dream. But I feel, I mean, I get, you know, where you're saying if he wanted to market, you know, his own stuff. But yeah, I mean, it all revolves, you know, she trying to figure out why her and Dixon don't have this relationship anymore.
But can we go back, because there's a couple important elements.
Where?
So they're all at the hospital because they're all there to support her, and they figure out. And there was already things that were starting to unravel. So you had Adriana, who was there. Dixon was like, "Why are you here?" Because you know he doesn't like her. And then the V kind of took up for Adriana, and then Dixon didn't like that, so then he checked him. And then so once Annie was getting ready to go into to do the surgery, she has a dream. And so when she wakes up, she's in this Dorothy uniform, and because she's at the Playhouse in Kansas. Now, the guy who was there when she woke up from the dream was Jason, which was her boyfriend from high school.
Right.
And apparently, not only were they together, but they were engaged to be married. And so with that being said, she found out that Dixon, once they had graduated, Annie decided to stay to be the actress, and Dixon wanted to go to LA to become a big rap star, and he didn't want to have anything to do with them. And so because Annie was like, okay, since I am marrying you, I can't marry you without my brother. Therefore, if my brother's in LA, I'm going to go find him. And so that's how all of this, this is how all of this starts. So just want to, you know.
Right. As we saw, which was cool.
I know, but for people,
I'm just saying.
But for people who just like to listen
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Gotcha,
I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's little story plots, you know, with Silver and Teddy, that whole situation. I mean, let's go over the dream, and then we'll head over to, like, you know, the situations with Silver and Teddy and how we think that's all going to panel out. So, your thoughts on the whole dream situation? What about you, Violet?
I thought it was crazy. I, for a second, thought, what if the whole show had been a dream and she really did just wake up on stage? So for literally a split second, I thought, what if, you know,
that'd have been crazy.
They're messing with us.
Right.
So I thought it was cool how it panned out and how she left and she saw what life would have been like. So I thought
without her.
Right.
And I mean,
it's still messed up.
Exactly.
So.
How did you feel?
I mean, I liked it. I was glad that the CW like kind of went back, because I feel like sometimes they get a little diverted and they go off on these wild tangents, and, you know, people getting shot and stuff, and it's just kind of unrealistic. So I'm glad that they brought it back to some of the original roots, and it's like, oh, it made you realize why you're such a fan of the show, because you're watching it and it's like, this is real drama. Like, people aren't really doing this other stuff that y'all got going on out here. Like, but this is like the real drama that we actually care about.
Right.
So I was like really happy that they brought it back to that. Like, it was wild and it made you want to keep watching. Like, I was bored at first, and then I was like, oh, wait a minute. Like, there's a story here.
Exactly. And especially, I mean, we, from the first season, you know, we grew up watching them. So it was cool to see the other side, like we've been saying. So in the dream, Silver's, I loved her character in that dream. I mean, she was this fierce bitch. Like, I loved it.
But that's how Silver was in season 1. Like, they like took her back to how she was.
She was, but then she ended up being such a pussy about everything. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, if she would have kept that little attitude a little bit, maybe she wouldn't have gotten the situations that she was in. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, we obviously wouldn't want her being like that.
If she was, I feel like if she had been that mean the whole time, nobody would have given her info. I mean,
exactly.
You know, she's like Perez Hilton on steroids or something.
Right.
She was putting everyone out there, everyone's business out there.
I like the fact, because I really can't remember what happened in the first season and who was there and who wasn't.
Right.
And it just dawned on me that she did used to work for the news press.
She was a blogger.
Yeah.
She was a blogger for the guy who event. Yeah. So I didn't even realize that until now we're having this conversation. I totally forgot that she was the blogger. For me, I just was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, she
but
did
I
that
forgot.
stuff.
Yeah.
I wish she would have kept on doing that, to be honest with you.
She would have
been more dynamic. Yeah,
definitely. I think she would have had a better storyline than this whole baby situation.
Yeah, and that's just boring, and it's not realistic. Like, it's just so
it's so crazy.
Like,
I mean, let's get into that. This whole Silver and Teddy thing real quick. I just want to touch base on that. I mean, where do you really think their friendship is gonna go?
Oh, it's down the toilet.
It's gone.
You don't think
gone.
it's ever gonna like come back to where them being really close again?
I mean, they could spin it that way, but it's just like, I think it's better for the show if it's just gone.
Yeah.
You know, she needs to feel bad about what she's done.
I want the story to stay because I want Teddy's character to continue, because if Teddy's character, because remember in season 4 he had a recurring role where he was only here a couple times, but now he's here. So I will take this I would take this whack storyline just for the sake that Teddy's there. Although I feel like he's aged, my gosh, like he looks super old now, but I'll deal with it just for the fact of getting all of the original cast members in.
And I mean, we both have said that we liked how they react, like how his reactions to like the other guys and you know, all of that. I mean, I've always been a fan of Teddy. I've always enjoyed him. Now, Adriana, I mean, that was not a surprise that she was the hot, drunk, druggy mess. You know, that was kind of her character all along, but she ended up, you know, switching around and obviously got, you know, more positive and less drugs and all of that. So that wasn't really a surprise to me.
But, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But I do like, yeah, she was a druggie. I do like how they made it work. So Silver was gonna leak this information of a video that she had, and Silver was like, well, if you give me something better, then I won't release it.
Right.
And so what happens now with going back to the Annie Dixon thing is they were at the party for Dixon, and they had to prove that this white girl was a sibling to Dixon. So she shows a picture of them. So she takes a picture and then she gives it to Silver. So I just like the way everything tied and just made sense.
But I don't see how that photo was like, so it was way bigger than Adriana's story.
That, I mean,
and how does that even hurt your career? Like,
everyone has a
Drake
child.
was on Degrassi, okay? Like, come on now.
The Game
And I
was
mean, like,
on
people
a
know, like-
dating show.
Right.
And like, you can have blended families. Like, who cares about stuff like that?
It was so ridiculous.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous, but they wanted to make the fact that, you know, I guess Dixon had been lying that he was never from, like, he was from the hood, from like Compton or somewhere, and so he was this
Dressed like a monkey. He was not from nobody's hood.
He was dressed like this little Tupac wannabe, and so he was like this hood. And so when it was revealed that he's from Kansas and that he has his white sister, then his street credibility goes down.
I guess that's the story.
Yeah.
So
it's corny, but I get it. Like, I haven't been happy with some of the storylines, but like I have nothing negative that I'm going to say about to yesterday's storyline.
And shout out to Tristan's entourage. That was my homegirl Chelsea and his brother Giz. They was in the whole entourage scene. So shout out to them. Yeah, they all did it up in there. Nice. Looking good, guys. Also, so Naomi's character, I mean, I loved it. It was so, like, this naive, young, like, she just wasn't, I just loved her not being a bitch for a second. I really did.
She looks like, I love her as a bitch. Like, she's my...
Me too.
Like, she has the look, and her being nice, it just doesn't even fit. Like, who wants, I mean, nobody likes anybody. Like, nice people don't get anywhere in life.
I know,
so
but
like,
it was just a nice change for once, you know? Like, you could really just feel like she was just really, like, genuine in a way.
Yeah. It was refreshing, but the moment like her ulterior motive, like although she was, you know, doing the open house, her ulterior motive was to marry a rich guy. And so she had her eye on Teddy. And
that was so crazy.
That was
right. You know, and again, it was random, but then you had Silver, the blogger, was like, wait a minute. So you date all these girls, but you never had a girlfriend. I think you're gay. And so then Teddy now goes to Naomi, and he wanted to have
a fake relationship.
A fake
I mean,
relationship.
Naomi as like a beard is kind of funny. Like, just because she's so feminine and you just wouldn't expect her to be like that front girl, but
I feel like she's too powerful in herself to have even ever have been a poor. And because I thought that was ridiculous.
I mean,
Naomi would have never been poor,
agents, so.
right? And the fact that she was chasing after Teddy and when she had no reaction to him being gay when he came out, she was just like, oh, okay.
Like she was kind of dumb.
Right.
To me, that showed the old Naomi. When she was like, oh, okay, whatever, I'm going to get a car, I can rip these clothes up. That showed the old Naomi, but it was still kind of like, for her to have that reaction, it's kind of, I'm not going to talk negative. I said I'm talking negative.
Yes, you're talking way too much negative about her. not the business. Who else do we have in here? So Liam was kind of a lame character in the dream. Like, he was kind of like this little extra throw-in, you know what I mean? Even though at the end it all kind of came down to it, him being there. And I think they kept it kind of like that for reasons, obviously. And I feel like they didn't want to tell us so much about where their relationship is going to go. Right. You know what I mean? Because we still have Riley in the picture. You know what I mean? We haven't forgot about him, even though he hasn't been in a couple episodes, but we can't forget about him. And like I said, I feel, you know, they probably will just end up being really good friends.
Well,
but I did see some love. I did see some love connection there. I'm not going to lie. But I just feel like they've been through too much to where it's like, okay, like, let's just be best friends.
I have a question.
Just my opinion.
Who the hell was Ty? I don't remember Ty.
Ty, I secretly, vaguely remember him.
Yeah.
Like, was it like a coffee shop? Or I want to say it was like seasons past. But I feel like it was a situation where it's going to come to me at some point, but I still can't remember where he came from.
Was he from high school or from college?
I think he was from high school.
Yeah, I think he was from high school too.
I think he was, yeah.
Maybe like a drug dealer or something, because that was kind of his role in the episode.
I really want to. I'm gonna have to go back and do some research on that. But I vaguely remember. I believe it was in high school though.
Yeah.
But he was only like a quick
very
fling.
quick.
Couple episodes, yeah.
The one cool thing about Liam was when Annie asked about what about your bar, he was like,
oh, I think he was like a popular guy. I think he was like one of the popular kids in school.
You're absolutely right. Ty is introduced as a rich and popular student at West Beverly Hills High School. He exudes a cool self-confidence and occasional cockiness.
Okay, yes.
Man,
He was just like this popular. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Did that.
Yeah, back to that.
I thought Liam had a cool line when Annie asked, you know, what about you in your bar? And he was like, I don't have a bar. I'm in college. Like, I'm too young.
I knew he was going to like that line because we say that all the time. We're like, why do these kids be drinking like all the time? And he owns a bar
That's
with
what
a
I
liquor
was
license.
thinking last episode.
But okay, you know, that's cool.
That's what I'm saying. It's just they went too far. Like the story's just so far gone. Like that doesn't.
But I
happen.
mean, rich kids in Beverly Hills could really do whatever they want. So
They probably could.
It's kind of probably going off kind of a little bit of reality.
I mean, I get it.
I do, and not to be a tattletale, but I teach, and so there's a lot of kids in high school that I know drink, and if you go to their Facebook and their Instagrams, they're this.
I drank in high school.
Yeah.
They don't own bars. Like
Well, yeah,
I
they don't
drank
own bars,
like
but
a
yeah.
fish, but I didn't own a bar.
Or like when they went to Vegas and they're all like, they might, okay, they better have some good fake IDs. That's all I'm going to say. You know, because we've all been there. All right? I've been there. Okay.
But you know, we're speaking of Ben, you guys need to go to iTunes and you need to download and rate and tell all your friends to make sure, and you go and download our podcast because we love doing the show and we know that you guys love listening to us. So make sure you go to iTunes, you download it, you rate and you comment. It's for free, so just make sure that you just do that for us, and we want to get in the top 10 before season 5 ends. So don't forget to do iTunes.
Yay. Thanks, Bam.
You're welcome, Nicolette.
So basically, I mean, to me, there was a lot to this episode, but there wasn't so much in this episode.
I feel like the whole episode was about Annie and Liam. The everything that happened ended up with Annie and Liam, and that's why I'll tell you what I think of the predictions.
Think of it. I mean, because let's get into it. You know, the whole dream, I guess, you know, ended up with them two being together. I mean, you know, Amber, what do you honestly feel about them?
I mean, I'm gunning for them. Like, I want them to, like, I love them together. Like, they're my favorite couple. Like, and it's just, like, so much has happened. And, like, even when they first started breaking up, like, a couple seasons ago, it's like, you didn't want them to break up. You wanted them to get back together. And then all this crazy stuff started happening with these baby mamas and crazy bitches and stuff. So it's like, I want them to be together because I feel like that's that love that you never really get over.
Right.
And so I just want them to be happy.
Do you feel like they've never had that, like, closure in a way? They really didn't.
Not. They didn't have any closure because it's like Liam was kind of a jackass when he came back.
Oh,
And so Annie just kind of, like, teetered around and found her way along. So I want them to be together because I know he wants to be with her. And, like, I think after Vanessa and everything else, he's
all
just
that
like,
craziness.
And taking bullets for each other. Like, that's like thug love. Like,
right.
They really need to be together.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think when Annie woke up and Liam was the first face she saw, I think that just said everything. Oh my God. You could just tell that they're meant to be. I love them together, so I'm really hoping they end up together.
I know, like, her heart was probably just like,
I love you.
I was surprised they didn't, like, kiss or something. Yeah. Like, I was just waiting for him to just be like, I'm so glad. But Riley still is in the picture, though, you guys. From what we know.
We haven't seen Riley in a while, but...
We haven't. I wonder how they're going to reel him in.
Why wasn't he at the hospital? That's what I'm wondering.
I didn't mean...
Maybe he died.
Oh.
Just saying.
Oh, wait, hold up, you guys. You know who we totally forgot about? Max.
I was thinking about that. Max.
That was so weird that he was in the dream, though. I feel like they could have been without him in the dream.
Max, I could go without him, period.
Really?
the whole like, ever since he was the nerd. Like, I mean, he's still a nerd, but I could just, no.
You don't
He's just so random. Like, Naomi would never end up with him in real life. Like,
yeah,
I could go without Max.
So first of all, why do you think he lied?
Wait, hold on. Was Max in the dream, or was it after when Annie gave her little...
Well, it was after the speech. He was like, oh, a friend called me and told me that you did real estate or something like that.
Right.
So
I think that meant that either way, if anything happened, Naomi and Max would have met each other.
Okay. Regardless.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. That's a nice outlook inside.
What about Naveed? Did we discuss?
Oh, he was just.
Did we talk about his outfits?
I mean, Naveed is just Naveed. I feel like he's always been
a sidekick to everybody.
The sidekick, yeah. But he's a good sidekick, though, to have. Like him. You know, I've always enjoyed him too. So, though, with Max and Naomi, why do you think he lied to Naomi, Violet?
I think he just wanted to get away and just clear his head and just think about their relationship and their marriage. And I mean, going home to your mom and dad is kind of lame, but they're still like in their early 20s, right? So,
Bam, do you have a lot to say about it?
I do.
I'd love to hear what you have to say about it.
As I mentioned last week, Max left because he does not want to be bothered with Naomi. And she had a reservation. She had a revelation because of what Andy said. So she went to Max's house to convince the mom. She didn't know that he was going to be there. So that means that Max probably Max actually never went to China, I don't believe.
Or Iceland.
He was at his mom's and dad's house chilling the whole entire time, which means that if he was there, he didn't call, he didn't answer any, he didn't answer her calls. He did not want to be bothered with her. But I can see why he just ran. I can see why he ran, because Naomi is a very complex type of person, and someone like her, she can drive a man to drink. And at some point, you're just like, okay, I can't deal with this anymore. And she's not one of those kind of person. She's not the type of girl where you can have a discussion and say, hey, this is not working. She always has to have things her way. Right. So the best, I feel, I'm speaking on behalf of you, Max. I feel like Max felt like his only option was to leave and let this girl go, because if he would have had a conversation with her, she would have pouted and she would have tried to get her way, because Naomi always has to get her way. So therefore, just take off.
Right.
Leave her at the altar.
What did you think
about the Max and Naomi situation? I mean, I told you I don't really like Max, so I don't think my opinion on it, I guess, really isn't.
They just not a good match.
It's just not a good match. Like, I mean, I would like Bam said, I would have lied too. I mean, like, Naomi's intense. Like, she's just an intense person.
She's a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, like,
but
I don't think he did it maliciously. It was kind of just, I need space. I need time
to
clear
his head.
Because I mean, I've done stuff like that before. Right. So I understand, Max.
Well, so do we have any more thoughts on this episode at all? Shall we get into predictions?
Yes, we shall.
Okay.
And now,
what about news and gossip?
TV.
Did anybody have any this week?
I do.
Okay.
I have some news and gossip.
Just kidding. Can we turn on that news and gossip? Thank you.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so I I did the red carpet for the 44th annual NAACP Image Luncheons nominees, and I ran into Tristan Wilds. And so I interviewed him. And I tried to get as much as juice on 90210 as possible. And so the first thing I said was like, why are you so damn mean to Adriana? And so he started laughing. He was just saying that, you know, it's basically payback, and how their relationship is not over, like there's more to come.
Oh, there is. I mean, like you could see at the end. Yeah. We didn't catch on that, how he looked at her like, damn, like she is still here. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
but she kind of just smiled and walked away, so I thought maybe she's over it. But I guess
no. I mean, I could see where you got that, but I feel like her look was just like, yeah, like I am still here. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I am trying to work this out.
Yeah, I thought that was a smart move, not to hover over him or not to say much. He kind of in some ways wanted to say he was sorry, but I felt like if she would have pressured him, then it would have just took him into another thing. So I felt what she did was appropriate. And so I asked him about that. He said that it was more to come about that, and I kind of teased him about that whole being in the coma thing. I was like, dude, what the hell was that? But then so I asked him about, you know, will there be more music for will we see more music
coming from him?
Coming from in the future, at least on the show. And he didn't really answer the question, but I kind of got my answer because he did perform, and they did promote that. You know, that was his music, and the song was called Free Ride. Okay. And so I believe it's available on downloads, because after the end, you know, music is featured by Tristan Wilds, and it had that. The picture didn't match. it was like
cute Tristan.
It was the old school, you know, the cap he had with like a sweater. Yeah. But he's rapping about the free ride. I was like, okay, I don't know,
Well, then check out his music. You know, support him. It's good. Yeah. Good. Predictions now. Let's do it. Thank you, Bam.
You're welcome, Nicolette.
And now your AfterBuzz TV
predictions. Violet, I want to hear what you have to predict.
Liam and Annie forever together forever, married, and the whole shebang.
Yes, I'm with you on that, definitely. Yes. What about you?
I think I'm going to agree with Violet.
Yay. You guys have any other predictions with like Teddy?
With Teddy, I think that him and Silver will never talk to each other. They'll go to court. Maybe they'll be civil to each other, but I think that's it for Teddy.
Do you think there's gonna be any babies?
I think the baby's gonna come.
Really?
Yeah, I
like to see that.
I think the baby will come, and something twisted's gonna happen with that situation. Like they're gonna do something crazy.
It's not gonna be Teddy's baby.
Yeah, it's gonna be like she's able to get pregnant. It's gonna be like Naveed's or something.
Do you think Liam is going to be going down a bad road again? I mean, as you saw, as he left, he had really bad anger issues, and as we could tell, he starts doing some boxing, but it's a little bit more than just boxing.
The whole thing where he hit the guy's headlight, I'm like, dude.
What the hell?
Well, my predictions, being that Teddy says that he's getting his lawyers to drop the papers to destroy the embryos, that says a lot. And the one thing that I thought that last night's episode was great, you know, they wrapped up and kind of made peace with everything. But the one story that they left hanging was, of course, the Silver and Teddy. Yeah. They were the only storyline that was kind of left in shambles. So will he really drop the papers to have it destroyed? I don't know.
I think he's just really mad.
But Silver it's not in her favor right now, and I kind of like that because she needs something. She don't have a job. She doesn't have a job. She's not in school. She doesn't have a hobby. So I'm hoping that this storyline gets better. And the whole Liam with the boxing thing, I think is whack. And Naomi and Max with the whole Massachusetts thing. Yeah. Max, go to Massachusetts. Have a nice life.
Bye. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, fans, for keeping up with 90210. Again, I'm your host, Nicolette Gaona. You can find me on Twitter at Nicolette Gaona and on Instagram at Sensei.
I'm Amber J. You can follow me on Twitter at I'm Amber J, J-A-Y-E.
I'm Violet Kanyan, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Violet Kanyan.
You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Bam Erickson. That's BAMMERICSEN.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good night. Until next week.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.